Hi guys, so today I wanted to come to you with a little review in terms of two products that I have been using a lot, personally and both in my kit. And this is the Beauty Blender and the Real Techniques Complexion Sponge. I wanted to do a review for you, tell you the good points about both and what I prefer at the very end. So this is the Beauty Blender. I got mine on Amazon, retailing for about £15, but I got a pack of two, and they were kind of one was facing this way, the other was kind of packaged. First of all, let's talk about the packaging. The packaging for Beauty Blender is very pretty. You get like pink little dots all around, a clear container, and Beauty Blender is in black, and one is facing upwards and the other holder has the other one facing downwards. So I got two for £15 on Amazon, which is really, really good. I will link below where I got it also. The second one I got was another pack of two, and this is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. Now, going on to how they actually work and the benefits of using both and what I like in each. The first one I'll talk about is the Beauty Blender. This is what it looks like. It does come in black and brown also. I didn't realise this, and I would have got the black if I had known. I realised afterwards I'd actually purchased the pink. The pink is beautiful and very attractive. I wash mine obviously after every single use. I also have ordered the black ones too, because I feel like it doesn't show up as much of what you what you're putting on to clients or yourself as well. But the pink obviously being so bright, and it is very beautiful. It does kind of, this has been intensely washed, but there is some kind of stains that are just, if you can see here a little bit, they just darken the pink a little, but that's fine. I can live with that. So the things I really like about this is the thin edge up here, the point, because you get underneath, you're really able to get under the eye very nicely. Also, even though it is a sponge, it's not that kind of sponge that's going to sometimes irritate your skin. It's very soft, it feels very soft, and when you do, this has just been washed, so it's expanded. So it wouldn't actually be this size when you get it in the package. I think it's about this size, about to here. And when you put the water on, it does expand, and you need to have water on it first and then squeeze out the excess and then use it in order for it to work properly. And I will go on to Real Techniques and talk about that sponge as well and how to use it. And so I like the rounded edge too, because you can kind of go in and kind of, if you've just done a kind of a cream contour, you can really kind of buff it in and before your powder and things like that. You can really define your highlight and contour areas with this as well. Using this side here just for the highlight, and then the contour can be really buffed out around the face using the other end of the sponge. So it's really, really good multifunctional, multi-purpose sponge. You do need to use it wet though. It has to be wet to use. So I really do like this. Again, I didn't know it came in other colours, and I would have ordered that. There's nothing I really don't like about it, because obviously I wanted to do good and bad points. I suppose the price, but when everything comes out, it always is kind of really expensive, and then it does kind of come down in price, and then other companies come out with their kind of copies of what you've done as well, which is what we're going to be talking about, which is the Real Techniques Complexion Sponge. So I do like the consistency. I like that it's very, very soft. It's very light actually to hold as well. Sometimes sponges can be quite heavy, especially if they're carrying some excess water as well, but it's not very heavy at all. Very nice and soft to use and very light on your hand, so you can kind of really do your makeup quite quickly. Much better than brushes, I find personally. Maybe other people have their own opinion, but I personally find doing my foundation with a sponge like this is much quicker and much more effective, lasts better throughout the day than actually using a brush, because you do then kind of get the lines and stuff of the brush going in your face as well. So I really highly recommend the Beauty Blender. $15.99 for two on Amazon, and I will link it below for you. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, and it's a completely different shape to the Beauty Blender. So it has this kind of oval, if you can see, kind of half cut shape here, which really is good for, you know, really getting into all the areas with your foundation, and it still does have the pointed tip at the end as well. It's heavier, it's much heavier, it feels heavier, and also it does it retains water more than say the Beauty Blender. It's a tougher consistency, even without the water. The good thing about this is you can use it wet or dry. So if you're in a rush and you want to put on your foundation, you can just put your foundation on really quickly. Don't have to go and run it under the tap, anything like that. It does work. I find it still drags the foundation a little bit. I did try to use it dry, and I just found it did work, and it did look nice, but I found there were certain places where if the sponge had been damp, it would have kind of just really buffed it in a bit better. So although like, I'm not saying it was it didn't look good. It just, I could see personally there was little areas that no matter how much I buffed, it kind of dragged the product more than actually blended it into the skin. So I personally prefer using it wet, and I did that today. And again, this is double the size it actually is, because if I just show you in comparison, I've got one here from my kit that I don't use. This is my personal one. So if you see, this is the size of this one, obviously in the clear container that I put in my makeup kit for clients, and I don't use that one. Again, I got a 2-for-1 price on Amazon, and I will link both sites below. So you can see the size just in comparison how big it actually gets. It's really, really good, really good value for money as well, because they were $14.99 for 2. So that's a really good in terms of price as well. And for one, I would imagine you would pay about, I can look it up for you, but individually I think they retail for about £8 or £9 online. I think in Boots it might be a bit dearer, but they are a very good dupe for the Beauty Blender. They're heavier, and the consistency when wet is the same as using the Beauty Blender, so you do get the same kind of effect. Although, just in terms of how they feel, the Beauty Blender has more of a kind of a nicer feel to the skin. This does the exact same thing with the product. When it's wet, it will do the exact same job. I just felt that little bit harsher than other people may find that they didn't find that at all. I just found it was a little bit, wasn't uncomfortable to the point where I couldn't finish the makeup application. It just felt a little bit harsher when I was putting it around the skin. But I personally think they're both as good as each other. They're very durable as well, so once you take care of them, wash them after each use, you will get a lot of use out of them, and you will get longevity out of them also. They're available in the UK from the Real Techniques website, or you can go into Amazon or Boots and get them in your local Boots as well. The one I personally prefer, I have to say, if I had to choose, would be the Beauty Blender, and the only reason being is that I find that when I'm just applying the makeup, it feels softer than the actual Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge, but that wouldn't stop me using this either. You know, if I would use this as well, and I do have it in my kit too, and I've never heard anybody that I've done the makeup on ever say that it felt harsh. I just found, in comparison, when you're doing a comparison, which this does feel a little bit softer, and I find that it does, even though they both have the pointed edges, I found this actually got in and blended the eye makeup and the eye concealer better than this one here. If you guys would like to see a demo, I will do it definitely, with one foundation application with the Beauty Blender on this side, and then with the Real Techniques on the other side. Absolutely, let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do that. But in saying that, even though I had a favourite with the Beauty Blender, I would definitely use them both, and I will continue to use them both. And I do think that I did really like the fact that they had more of the oval cut here, because you can really get into areas and really make sure that things are blended in correctly. You can use them on the tip and use it around your nose as well as this side. I know a lot of people use the tips for the nose and eye area, but this side can also be used for that too. Or also if you're trying to define a cut edge for your contour, this kind of, what I've done also in sometimes with the liquid or the cream contour, is that I've used this edge here to just kind of apply it and make sure that line is really straight, and then I've buffed it in afterwards. But to get that original line, I've used this kind of curved edge here to really get that definition for the face as well. So very happy with both, would definitely repurchase both. I will link below where you can get them in the UK, and thank you for watching the video.